Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Edwin. I'm the head of global sales at Hystax. Most of the guys in the call know me because, as we obviously can see, the list of participants, I see many existing and newly existing customers. So welcome. And this is why today we will have an emphasis on the new features, what we think enables us to do faster, more mass migration than anyway always in the past as well. This is the part of my co-host Max, our CTO and co-founder, who's going to join. He's already in a call, but he joins after my first more or less general part. So for all the guys who are already aware how Hystax, how Akura works, you have now 15 minutes to do something else if you want, because first comes the general part for our new listeners, because we have as well existing customers as new ones, and we need to make sure that they're on the same level. You know Akura, the new guys don't know it. So let me first give a brief general overview, and then we can take a look at the new stuff. Sounds like a plan? Okay. So let me share my screen. So here we go. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of March. The agenda is what is Hystax Akura and how does it work? As said, that's the general part for our newbies. Then we have the part of Max, where he talks about the receiver mesh with parallel data transfer, the improved security features, and also about advanced replication agent tuning for VMware. And last but not least, as always, there will be a Q&A session. Altogether, it will take 45 minutes max. Vision 4.41, that's the, not vision, version. Version 4.41 is the latest Akura version. And as you can see, exactly the topics Max is going to talk about, what you saw on the slide before, the receiver mesh option. Here, the security updates. This is what we have in the new version, which some of you already have applied, as I know. Hystax. Who is Hystax? What is Hystax? Hystax is a company, obviously, from the beautiful Bay Area in the United States, founded in 2016. But it's the third company, and before we also did other stuff around clouds, disaster recovery as a service, and so forth. As you can see, we have done a couple of migrations so far. So this solution is really field proven and available at scale. Hystax is the company. As you can see here, we have two products. One is Akura, the other one is OptScale. OptScale being also very interesting about cloud cost management, FinOps. But for today, we talk about Akura. So Hystax is the name of the company, Akura the name of the product. Akura is a software that manages three use cases: live cloud migration, disaster recovery, and backup. Because the flow is more or less always the same. And that's the first takeaway you should get from this call, that Akura is a software, yes, but it's not SaaS. It's actually a set of Docker containers orchestrated by Kubernetes, but provided to our partners and customers as a golden image, so that then you deploy it on a VM running in the target site. And I will show this to you Today I jump a little bit to make it more interactive. So if I go to our very granular documentation, you will see here the first thing, exactly what I said, Hystax Aqua controller, that's the name of the VM, deployed from the image provided by Hystax. This is the flavor. So it's a software, but not SaaS. At the end of the day, Aqua is an instance running in the target side. Good. Back to the presentation. What we do is a so-called lift and shift migration. As you probably know, there are different ways to do a migration. Recoding, replatforming, rehosting, refactoring, whatsoever. What we do is the rehosting, also called lift and shift. It means we take the whole machine as such and replicate it to the other side. Data and also metadata, IP addresses, MAC addresses, subnets, everything gets replicated, everything that's running on the VM or attached to the VM. And no matter what it is, because we are so-called application agnostic. This means you don't have to ask later in a Q&A if we also can replicate SAP HANA, Kubernetes clusters, Oracle databases, or Cassandra clusters. I don't even know what it is. But yes will the answer anyway, because it's application agnostic, always on the VM layer. We migrate the whole machine as such. That's called lift and shift. This solution is made for partners because our go-to-market is 99% via partners, CSPs, MSPs, value-added resellers, companies who can add value by providing support and professional services. Because Hystax is an ISV, an independent software vendor, and we only sell licenses and offer tier 3 support. And this is why we need partners like you who resell our licenses, make some hopefully nice margin already with that. And on top, you can bring in your professional services, managed services, which in a normal migration process anyhow is the bigger cost block. So because it's purpose-built for partners, you can of course expect a partner dashboard, which is multi-tenancy for all your customers to work them from a single pane of glass. And you can even white label it. So let me show you how this portal looks like. Here we go. So this is when we send you the image, you deploy it on a VM running in a target side. You have a UI, which you can use or not, because the whole solution is covered by RESTful API. Feel free to integrate it into existing systems, management systems. If you use the UI, this is what you see. So here you see there's a partner called Hystax. Yeah, it could be a more creative name. In this case, Hystax is the partner of Hystax, and it has 2 customers, this partner. Here you see them, 1, 2. And now, as an MSP, you can jump on them and work on the customer. So this customer now, called OpenStack customer, you can see has 2 machines. Here they are. And now you could do some replication, testing, whatsoever. And you can give your customers access to the same UI, if you like. And then if you want them to do some tests themselves or whatsoever, or just to take a look, feel free. And of course, this goes without saying, the customer can only see his view and not the partner view with all the customers, of course. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. Partner tenancy, partner dashboard, multi-tenancy, we saw. As said, if you want to white label it, that it shows not Hystax, but your company name, your colors, your corporate identity, feel free. So this is also a very relevant slide. It shows the platforms which are supported. Let's go from left to right. On the source side, these are just examples. So you see below it says etc, etc, etc. There's just not more space for more logos. So everything which you might immediately think, oh, where's Proxmox? Where's CloudStack? Of course, it's also supported. Actually, almost everything is supported. It's quite easier to say vice versa, what is not supported. So on the source, the exceptions, what we don't support is IBM AIX, and Solaris bare metal. So bare metal, yes, is supported, but not if it's Solaris. Everything else by default, Sunford Cloud, Tencent Cloud, I don't know, whatever you think of, it's supported. So the source is a given. Okay, to be 100% precise, we also should take a look at the operation systems because we don't go back to the Stone Ages. So here we have a compatibility matrix where you see, for example, VMware start from 0.6. From anything, all the latest versions support anyhow. This tells you just how far we go back. So for example, here you see Windows Server, we start from 2008 R2. In the case you had some customers still running on 2003, would then not be supported, or they have to upgrade to a later version. So the latest versions are always supported. Red Hat 18 is also supported. This just tells you from where we start. Okay, so we now know the source is a given. Operation system, it's nice to be checked. Let's talk about the target platforms. Here, as our partners see, there are some new logos. Yes. So what we literally support here, this is not et cetera, et cetera. This is everything we do, not more, but also not less. And what do we see? We see the hyperscalers, AWS, GCP, Azure, and also Alibaba. And then we see OpenStack. OpenStack means any OpenStack from Mitaka upwards. Also all these, as I call it, companies OpenStack, like Canonical, Red Hat, Mirantis, they're all supported. Plus OpenNebula, plus OVirt, plus KubeVirt, plus VMware as well as the target, yes. And Red Hat, OpenStack on OpenShift. And then soon coming, I took the freedom to add it already to the slide, but honestly, they just are in the development, coming in the next 2 to 3 months, which is Cloud Sigma and Apache Cloud Stack. Let's talk about the migration. What we do is called the lift and shift, I said, and this is done by the so-called snapshotting and incremental replication. What does it mean? It means that first we take a full initial copy of the machine, and then we take the incrementals, the deltas between two snapshots, the changes, yes? And this all happens in the background. So you don't have to worry that your customer gets bothered or has any issues with his daily operations, because we do anything possible to make it as smooth as possible, like barn optimization, deduplication. We don't send any empty blocks twice. We do, of course, all kind of compression techniques. And also you can do throttling of the bandwidth. So this happens in the background. There's no downtime, no issues, nothing for the customer. Agentless migration, what does it mean? It means simply that there are two different types of agents, internal and external agents. And as the name says, internal agents are running inside the machine and external machines on external, which in the case on the hypervisor level, on the infrastructure level. Let me show it to you as well. Here you can see a diagram which I like a little bit more than the basic one. Look, let me show you the basic one first so that you have the comparison. This is the high level flow. You see here, there is Hystax running in a target side. So remember, it's always running in a target side, yeah? And in case of AWS, for example, you see we are running inside EC2. In case of KVM, also in the target side. And here you see the ACP, the controller with the web UI and some other containers. Of course, there are more. These are the most important ones: orchestrator, V2V transformation, and the receiver. And so you have here the source and the target side. And it means Hystax is not taking part in this game. It's not SaaS, as said. There's never ever a connection to our system. That's pretty cool, because most other solutions, they demand, at least during the cutover, a connection so that they get the log files for license invoicing, for troubleshooting, I don't know. We don't do this. We give you the image, you deploy it on the machine running in the target side. Then from there, you deploy the agents on the source machines. The replication agent connects automatically with the Hystax controller, and then we do the incremental the replication. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. And you see here, source machine 1, it could also be 500 or 5,000. It's just a diagram. Yeah. And also replication agent. We don't, by purpose, say internal or external, because for the flow, actually, it doesn't matter too much. But as you can see here, there are two different types. This was the last point I wanted to show you. So here you see the two different types. Internal agent, as said, inside the machine, operating on a guest OS level. It's either Windows or Linux service running on the Windows or Linux machine. Here you see below the replication agent download from the UI deployed as a service directly on the source machines. But in the case of VMware, over the OpenStack. So if the source, not the target, if the source is VMware over the OpenStack, then we can also use external agents, which are running on the hypervisor level. You see, as it says here, aside from internal replication agents, there's an option to use an external replication agent in the case of VMware, OpenStack, or Overt. You already know, some of you guys, there's another precondition. Yes, VMware replication agent, but only external replication agent if it's VMware with vCenter API. And on OpenStack, we need to have Ceph as the backend storage. Then you can use external agent. If it's VMware without Ceph or any other source, Hyper-V, Nutanix, then you have to use internal agents. But if it's OpenStack with Ceph, or not VMware, OpenStack with Ceph, or VMware with vCenter API, then we can use external agents, which are running on the hypervisor level. And that's a cool thing. It's just an additional small virtual machine with 2 vCPU, which we deploy on each VMware XI host. And then this VM detects all the other VMs around it and starts the replication. You can see this also here in the deployment requirements. If you go down, you see here the replication agents for Windows, just a memory because it's just a service. And for Linux, the same. And for the VMware, it's a machine with 2 vCPUs. And here you see also the ports. So the Hystax replication agent connects via public internet. That's the default way, of course, encrypted, HTTPS. But actually, you can use any layer 3 connection or layer 2 as well, even offline in a data center, as long as the replication agent is connected with the Hystax controller. Yeah. UDP 12201 is optional. This is just for the log files. If you want to have them in a controller, makes it easier if you need to troubleshoot, but it's optional. Yeah. So here you see external agents, internal agents running on a source side, connecting with Hystax controller. This happens automatically. And then we write the data with the cloud agents, which are utility machines, into volumes. So cloud agents, here you can see it, it's a auxiliary machine, which gets automatically created and has only one functionality to write data into the storage. So that later then we can boot the machines in an orchestrated way directly from these volumes. Yeah. Okay, back to the slideshow. So the flow, the basic flow, I think it's understood. It's not rocket science. Quickly here, you can of course do as much test migrations as you want. These are very high level, the different stages. First, you do the cloud preparation, the VM identification. So to be honest, here we don't offer some discovery or mapping functionalities. So you really have to make up your mind, what VMs do we want to migrate? What can we migrate? And then prepare the cloud. It means, remember that I said proudly at the beginning that we can replicate the whole machine as such with anything running on it, attached to it, data, metadata. Yeah, cool. But there are still things which even Hystax cannot replicate, which are these infrastructure networking things like VPNs, firewalls. This you need to replicate to the target site up front. Then you install the replication agents, and we do the initial replication. So, and how does this look like? You go to our portal. It's really easy because you just have to follow the guide, which is from left to right. So in the Arabic countries, they read from left to right, from right to left. It doesn't apply, but for us, it's from left to right. And obviously, it starts with the installation of the replication agent. And here it is. First, select the customer. Just one step with the first custom selection is obvious. Then you are already here where you select the agent. As we already understood, there are two types of agents deployed on the hypervisor level. In case of VMware, OpenStack being the source, not the target, the source, or in all other cases, internal agents. So you just choose, let's say, the external VMware agent, click next. Then here you would put your target platform, and then you click next again, and then you get already this download agent button where you get then an VA file, which you deploy per each EXI host, and then it starts the detection. And in the case of the internal agent, actually it's the same thing. You choose either Windows or Linux, click next again, and then you have this download installer package, which you unzip, unpack, and deploy. And if you have 500 machines, don't think that you need to do this 500 times. If you do it one single time, and with a simple script, you can then do the mass deployment on the other 499 machines. So, downloading of the replication agent was done. We take the initial full copy, then we take the incrementals in phase 2. Here you also do the migration plans. Migration plans is, so to say, the run book, which we execute during the V2V transformation, where on the fly we inject drivers, we change flavor, because CPU on VMware XI is not the same like 2 CPU on OpenStack from a performance perspective. There you need more. So all this information, also what about the IP range? Do you want to change it? Do you want to keep it? The MAC addresses? All these things you put in the migration plan, which we then execute. You test it as long as you want. We only want you to plan a cutover with your customer if everybody involved has the full confidence that all the workloads will run on the other side in the same errorless and flawless way as before. If there's any doubt, corrupted files, data loss, we just test all over again. And then we can schedule the maintenance windows. So here we usually had some downtime. So you plan it in Saturday night at 3 a.m., for example. But the good thing is, it's a very fast migration solution. So first of all, it's predictable because you do test migrations, remember. And the test migration is 100% the same scenario like the real productive migration. So you can already estimate if you need 45 minutes or 2 hours. Plus, the only thing we need to do during the cutover, obviously, is to pull the very last incremental and then boot the machines directly from the volumes. And this is why our cutover is quite short, because booting of the machine can take a minute or less. We have now a customer, actually a Fortune 500 bank, where we do a migration of more than 50,000 VMs, where we have by agreement in written migrate every night 500 VMs. We can do more, they say, feel free, but the minimum 506 hours downtime. So make the math, 6 hours equals 360 minutes, 360 divided by 500, it must be even less than 1 minute. Yeah, and the good thing is now it's even under certain circumstances 100% live, because you don't even have to shut down the machines. On VMware, we can keep the VMs running and then spin the new machines up in the target side without shutting down the VMs on the source, so that you even could make a rollback in the middle of the cutover if you want. Was never necessary, but maybe one day it will be necessary, and then you can do this. So we discussed the flow. Disaster recovery is the same flow. It's a very good RPO, RTO, but we don't talk about DR and backup today. We talk about the migration. So let's finish it here. Some name dropping just to see that, look, we have, of course, some customers. But here on the left side, telecoms. Quite strong presence. Telefonica, Orange, Deutsche Telekom, Saudi Telekom. How does it come? Because all these folks, they're using OpenStack clouds. And I didn't say this, but actually the very first platform we supported when we founded the company was canonical OpenStack. So we started with OpenStack and we ended with OpenStack, because if you want to go to Azure, you can use Azure Migrate. It's for free, it does the job. Why would you pay us, you know? So we are actually the expert for OpenStack, and this is why we also have such a nice connection with all these vendors like Red Hat, Canonical, Platform 9, who's in the call as well. Hey, Josh, and Virtuoso, and so forth. So let me show you, make sure that I didn't miss something. So we saw this nice documentation. We saw the portal. Next, we'll show a little bit more in the portal. So just to finish this, when you have downloaded the replication agent, then the machines will appear here automatically. They pop up, pop in detection modus with their name, their IP address, their size. Then you can start the replication. On Windows, we use VSS to get application consistent snapshots. On Linux, we emulate VSS and get crash consistent snapshots. And as said, first we take the initial copy, then the incrementals. The data is here. You create the migration or DR plans. I am now in the DR demo stand, but if I were in the migration demo stand, it would say migration plan. That's the only difference. And you see them. We have two. These are just examples, of course. You can have many more. And here you have ranks. Ranks, it's all about orchestration, because as we all know, there are dependencies among the machines. I heard it's not smart to start Web Apache server before Active Directory, for example. Yeah. So you want to do this. Maybe you tell Hystax, hey, please start first the machine with Active Directory. Then as a second machine, the one with Oracle databases. As a next step, then moving the clients to those databases. This is so-called orchestrated launch. Of course, we support it. And if you see here, there's a machine in rank 0, some DRE Ubuntu, and then there is another machine in rank 1, and obviously we would start this machine before we start the second one. If you click on these arrows, it opens up. You see some things you can put here: port IP, subnets, CIDR, add additional subnets, and that's the easy drag and drop functionality, as I say. And there's even an expert modus for the experts among us, where you can literally change anything: floating IPs, subnet, flavor, and you can even add additional scripts for more automation. So whenever you want to do migration, after you install the replication agent, the data is on the other side. How long it takes, 5-6 months. All in the background, Core is taking the incrementals, the changes. We put them on the target side in cloud native format. Whenever you're ready and the customer you want to do the migration, just go into the UI, choose the customer, choose the machines you want to migrate, probably both in this case, it's not too many. Choose the right migration plan, click on launch, and then the magic happens. This is now when we do the V2V transformation and the productive migration. Yes. If you get all kind of events, informations, if a machine stops replicating, you can set in the UI nice settings for your coworkers or for the customer. If you want to limit the access, you can manage it here. So quite nice and clean UI. The roadmap we take a look later. So I think this is all I wanted to recap and tell to the new audience. Sorry for our existing customers who already knew all of this. Now I will hand over to our CTO, Max.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks, Eben, for your presentation. Thanks all for joining our webinar. So I will take a word about the latest updates, which Edwin just spoiled to you. Yes, but I will take a bit more details about that features. So let's start with the. I'm starting the presentation, and this is the high-level diagram that you already saw. So I will explain what changed, what was before, and what has changed with the recent update, and what can help you to perform the real mass migrations from VMware or other clouds or other platforms to the OpenStack or other supported target platforms. So previously, the only option, and it was the most simplest option to deploy a core controller and connect replication agents to it, was just deploying the controller and opening only 2 ports to the internet or to the source side. So these ports are 443, obvious port for HTTPS. And second optional port 12201 for the logs if you want them to have them on the controller. So when replication agents you deploy it on the source side, they can be of course multiple replication agents serving for example the single VMware cluster or single VMware vCenter setup. All of these replication agents, they just connect to controller, they talk to him, they get the replication tasks from the controller, and also they send the data to the controller as well. So the controller is the machine that handles not only management calls, but also the data traffic. So in classic scheme, the controller routes the data to the cloud agents in different customer tenants in your target platform. So the controller in real mass migrations, the controller might be a bottleneck. So that's why we come to the conclusions that we need to have an option to pass data not through the controller, but directly from replication agents to the cloud agent. And we did that. So what we did, obviously, we just made it the feature, and this is optional feature. You can work in the classic way, and you can choose the updated way to send the data. The feature that allows replication agents finds the corresponding cloud agent that they need to send the data, and in this way, the data doesn't come through the controller, eliminating this bottleneck and allowing you to replicate the data on the real scale. So, for example, our customers handle with 400 migrations during the night, during the single 8-hour maintenance window, 400 migrated machines with average throughput of 4.5 gigabytes per second. So they can do that with the upgraded data sending scheme. But on the other hand, this updated scheme it's somehow more complex to deploy, because here in the classic scheme you only need to provide the connectivity from source side to some single IP and 2 ports. But in this scheme, you need to be sure that the number of cloud agent instances will be accessible by the replication agents from the source side. And the second thing that we needed to handle is the security, of course, because in case if you are migrating within the single data center, not through the public internet, you might choose the port 80 and not encrypt your data. And this way is more performant, because replication agents and cloud agents, they doesn't spend their resources to encrypt and decrypt data. But in case if you are replicating using the internet connection, obviously you have to have the encryption of the data stream. That's why we also added the possibility to encrypt the data stream coming to the cloud agent. So finalizing this feature, these 2 features actually, you can scale almost indefinitely. So you can replicate simultaneously many hundreds of the machines, and just taking advantage of the such scalability. So to the other updates, I wanted to tell you we of course, we expanded the compatibility with the newest operating systems such as Debian, Red Hat, and Ubuntu, and so on. And also, if we touch on the case of the migration from the VMware, we extended the possibilities of the VMware external replication agent as well. Now it can attach source disks not only using NBD or NBD SSL, but also with HOTAT protocol. So that may give, and obviously it gives much higher speeds of data reading on the source. And also we added the parallel disk uploading, meaning that the disks will be read it and uploaded to the target site in parallel. So more parallelism, more scale, and so on. So what else? So that's almost the features that we added in this release, apart from the security fixes and the updates in the compatibility.
So I would just suggest, Max, that we just take the time to go through the last questions, because I think they are interesting for everyone. When you're ready, or did you want to show something else?
Yeah, I'm pretty ready. So let me.
Before we start, okay, so let's officially now start the Q&A part, and we start with the last two questions in the chat, which we did not answer yet.
Yeah. So regarding the ETA of KVM KEMA-level replication agent, so we just recently started developing it. I hope that we will be able to announce the release schedule in Q2. And internally, we aiming to the end of Q3 and beginning of Q4. So now with the recent updates in KVM regarding CBT, and as it became more mature than a year before, let's say, we really feel the demand from our customers. That's why we started developing it. Okay. Are there any limitations on the data source store types for VMware? No strict limitations. The only limitation for the external agent is the directly attached volumes. So the volumes that are not handled, that are not VMDKs and not handled by the snapshotting system of the VMware itself. In this case, the replication agent wouldn't be able to create the snapshot of the disk as well, obviously, and you'll have to use the internal agent. But with internal agents, you can replicate even bare metal, of course. Why do Aquara needs a SMTP to activate? So this is the thing that we developed for the reason of transparency. So Aquara, it somehow should report about the license usage. So that reports, they of course anonymous. So we know the customer, we know the ID of the deployment, but we don't know the names of the machines. We don't know even the names of your customers, and so. And we choose the SMTP because it is served by your SMTP server, and we send that data in text format, in plain text, and you can check what we send to what controller can send to sends to Hystax. So you will be sure that it doesn't send any confidential information. In case if SMTP, you do not have SMTP, if it's really showstopper, of course, you can ask Edwin to approve disabling the SMTP. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we prefer to have it in place, but it's we can talk about it. Yeah, if it's really a breaker for you guys. Yeah. So, any more questions? I can show actually also the roadmap because maybe you will have some questions regarding the roadmap. Good idea. Let's take a look. You can see my screen, right? Here we go. Bam. So this is a roadmap. So far, you know how life is. Sometimes we need to switch priorities because of whatever situation,
Yeah,
but
let me go through it and highlight a bit of things here. So for this quarter, at the end of this quarter, we are aiming to do the release. The major feature of which will be a feature called direct to target. So this feature will allow migration to the platforms that are not directly supported by Ecora. So what I mean under directly supported, so that means that Ecora performs all operations regarding the target's volumes, VMs, and so on by itself using platform API. That means that you have a lot of automation around the migration. But on the other hand, we have to implement the support for every cloud, for every cloud that we want to add to that list. Direct target allows you to spin up uh, the VM on the target side from our image, which will contain cloud agent itself. And after that, you can just point replication agent to that cloud agent, and that cloud agent will be used as the target machine, and you don't have to ask us when you support my target platform. You can do some manual operations. Of course, it's will be some manual operations with this feature, but on the other hand, you can really migrate to any target platform with
yeah, so
support.
this then finally we because we now say any to any, but there are exceptions, as you know. But then we can really say it's any to any migration because everything which is not supported now, let's say Oracle, for example, now we would need to do an integration as Max says, check the APIs that they are in place, and that do everything what Core should do, which takes 2 months, costs money. And in the future, any new platform you're interested in with this tool, with this feature, we support it with some goes on expense of complexity and then some features maybe, but in general, we are then really any to any. Yeah, great.
Yeah, and of course we do not telling you that we won't be adding a new target cloud platforms in a full-fledged integration way. As you can see, in this quarter, we are also aiming to support 2 more target platforms, and in Q3, the cloud stack will also be added.
Yeah, so yeah, of course. This is just if you cannot wait or if it's really a minor cloud where we see there's no demand, but for your specific use case, it's the case. Of course, if there's some rising new cloud everyone wants to go to and we see a lot of demand, then in our own interest, we would support it sooner or later. Or if you're willing to sponsor an integration, we can also do this. But in general, we are not in the integration business, but we want to resell our licenses. So we don't gain anything with an additional dead target platform we support, but no one is using it.
Yeah. The second quarter of this year is more focused on the backup features. So on the main backup features, for the first one, we will expand receiver mesh usage to the backup case, so you can scale cloud agents and your backup setup, as I describe it for the migrations. We also we will be also adding. Let me Yeah.
Sorry.
We're also adding support for traditional backup storage, such as tape drives, to store and detachable backup copies. So yeah, you can perform a backup on long time storage. The Q3 and Q4, they are more foggy right now. There are no real clarity on the full set of the features that we will be adding in that at that time. But the skeleton of the feature list you see right here. So what I can announce here, we very actively working on fully new acro control panel. So the current control panel may be looking to you a bit outdated, with some outdated technologies and UX. So that's why we fully rewriting the UI. And we are putting all of our experience across these years in the UX, so user experience will be very improved.
And your feedback will be appreciated. So if you think you want to give us some tips how it could be more intuitive or better or whatever, how we could improve it, you guys, existing customers who are partners who are already using it for so long time, like Aaron, for example, please don't hold back.
Yeah. And of course, to drive the feedback loop for selected partners, we will publish the updated UI for the migration to our closest partners in Q2. So.
Okay. In the meantime, 2 new questions. Max, can you take a look, please?
For new data paths that allow for direct to cloud agent data paths, there needs to connection both to Hystax cloud agent. Yes. Replication agent will need to be able to connect to controller for control calls and receiving replication tasks, but the data will be sent directly to the cloud agent. Yes. Can the network dependency in cloud migration be a problem for low bandwidth area? So practically, we work with the bandwidth starting from 10 megabits per second. So that's the minimal viable bandwidth that we guarantee that replication agents will be able to send the bulks of the data to the target site. But it can be adjusted in some corner cases. We can reduce the size of the data chunks to handle with very low bandwidth. But it's you need to ask our support for help.
Any more questions? We're also close to the end. So if someone was too shy to ask a question, you can always send us an email, of course, and who wants to have a one-on-one because he has so many questions. Also, feel free to ping me and I am happy to arrange it. Okay. Then I think we're done. I hope it was interesting. If not, also here, share your feedback. We don't want to waste your time. In the future, if you think it was not interesting. Thank you very much. Eric is typing something. Thanks.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks.
Thanks, Eric, and others. Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you very much again. See you.